Good morning, folks, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, whatever the case may be. I decided to finish this one today because I want to kit it down. I really want to do a kit down, and I can't stop thinking about kitting up this one in particular, Carousel Dreams. I know it's a square, and I already have a square on the go, but I really want to kit that one up. So I really want to finish this one so I can kit it down, kit this down, and oh my goodness, today is not March. It is February. It's still February 13th. Okay. You have a happy and exuberant disposition and consideration for the rights of others. You like refinements and culture, have good taste, are fond of good literature, and are ambitious to learn. In your love affairs, you do not like to stick to one person, but after marriage, you will be very happy and contented. Aww. So if today's your birthday, happy birthday. And, well, I haven't done anything yet. Haven't done anything new, I should say, on my kitty cat. I did do a little bit more crocheting last night, of my curtain. I really, really, really need to get that done. Because, oh my goodness, it's cold. Somebody shared there's a cold front going on in one of my group chats. Oh my goodness, too cold. It's too cold. So, without further ado, now that I got through that super duper quick, like I said, I want to get this finished so I can kit it down. So I'm gonna so yes, that means depending on how quickly it goes to kitting this down, I think I might just do 3 videos today, finishing this one, kitting this one down, and then kitting up the other one. Yeah, because of how long it'll take to kit down and to kit up. Well, we'll see how long it takes to kit down. In the meantime, okay, A, T, L, K, and 7. I'm gonna do this a little batch. So there's actually three bunches. These are the orangey yellow flowers. Oh, which includes this. And then there's the purpley flowers, and then there's the leaves, the leaves and stems. So I'm gonna do this bunch first. Yeah, so I'm so close to being finished with this. I have been enjoying working on it. It's just, I'm ready to move on. Yeah, my friend Peta messaged me last night, and she's like, "Are you ready for another package?" I'm like, absolutely. I just don't know if my my pocketbook is ready. You know, duties and fees, duties and taxes. It's bad enough that Canada, oh my goodness, Postal Service, Canada, Postal Service of the States, the tariffs, the taxes. You know what this really means, right? It means that basically you're getting less for the same. You spend $100, you get $100 worth of stuff, right? Well, you actually, no, it's more like you spend $100, you get like $90 worth of stuff and $10 worth of taxes. Well, with what Trump is planning on is doing is has decided to implement. You spend $100 and you either get well, if it's metal, you get $50 worth of stuff and $50 worth of tariffs on metal, apparently. Other stuff, it's you spend $100 and you get $75 worth of stuff and $25 worth of taxes, tariffs, taxes. It's bull patootie. And I say that because there are some companies that really rely on stuff from the States, like my ex, who's an auto mechanic. All of the auto parts, all the parts that he uses, that he orders, he gets from the States for fixing vehicles. Well, he's already, yeah, he's, basically it just means he's going to have to charge more for his services in order to be able to afford the parts to fix people's vehicles. Yeah, I'm not happy about that. And I'm hoping that whoever we end up with as Prime Minister at the next election, I hope they're able to do something to even things out at least. I don't know. Okay, I am not used to talking politics. I normally shy away from politics as much as humanly possible, but this tariff stuff, I'm worried that it's going to start tearing people apart. Not literally, but like figuratively, like the stress. Because this, like case in point, my ex with his auto mechanic, his auto shop. He struggles being able to afford to. There are days that he struggles to keep the shop open because of the cost. Because of the cost of living. But because he specializes in European vehicles, he does make pretty good money. He also does mud racing and all kinds of competitions, and he's good. He is really good at it. He's been doing this kind of stuff for like 30 plus years now, because he was doing this kind of stuff in high school. And yeah, he's very popular in the racing stuff that he does. Unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to watch him in person. Our lives just never lined up in that way, and I just spotted a couple of L's. I'll deal with them in, oh, and a third one. I'll just set that aside for now. But anyways, yeah, we dated in high school, and he was an auto shop, And a lot of times during lunch, I would sit in the auto shop while he worked on a vehicle, and we'd talk about pretty much nothing. Like, we'd talk about our families and stuff. Like, we actually met through my stepmom, because she was friends with his stepmom. Well, they his dad and stepmom weren't actually married. They yeah, they were both married previously. Like, his dad was married to his mom, and then cheated on his mom with this woman, and she was married, and she cheated on her husband with his dad, and then they left their significant others and then just lived common law for, oh goodness, I don't remember how long, but for many years. Yeah, they were living common law for many years. So he originally, so my stepmom was friends with his stepmom, and my dad and my stepmom, well, they started dating. She lived in a mobile home about like 2 or 3 trailers down from his dad and stepmom in my hometown. And he was originally living with his mom. I think she's got, I think it's 10 acres. Yeah, I think it's only 10 acres. Could be 40, I don't remember. But she's got a chunk of land. And he was living there. And then he went and was staying, and then he got shipped off to his dad's. And yeah, that's how he and I met. Was when he first came to this high school. And yeah, he was a bit of an odd one. He always wore a sweater. Always had a sweater on, and he always had his coat on, done all the way up to his neck. Yeah, even in class. Yeah, I thought he was a little odd because of that, but I also thought he was sweet and kind of cute, even with that big nose. Yeah, they get the big nose from their mom. So yeah, he actually became friends with an old friend of mine from elementary school, and I didn't know it at the time, but yeah, he was into the devil's lettuce, but in high school. But he never told me. He never told me that he smoked the devil's lettuce in high school. But yeah, when my dad and stepmom were planning on, when they were gonna get married, my parents, my dad and stepmom, they're like, well, he's gonna be there, but he doesn't have a date. You should take him as your date. You two should go as a couple. So they kind of set us up. But before we went as a couple to their wedding, before he went as my date to their wedding, he and I, we actually did go on a date, but it was a supervised date, I guess. Chaperoned, that's the word, chaperoned. We were chaperoned. We went to the demolition derby together with his stepmom and a friend of hers. And unfortunately, the top of my head got sunburnt. But I had a nice time. Yeah, we both had a nice time. And we did actually start dating, and we had a great time with being a couple, or at least I think we did. But yeah, we started spending more and more time at school together. He was in a couple of my classes. And he was in the fly fishing club that was run by one of the English teachers. And I really liked that English teacher. He was a cool English teacher. I actually joined the fly fishing club one year and learned how to tie flies. And I didn't think I was all that great at it, but the teacher was like, yeah, your flies are different in a good way. Because they didn't look like the average flies. Because I would just take whatever and put it together, and there you go. And yeah, I wasn't in the fly fishing club for very long. Unfortunately, I wanted to be in it longer, but it is what it is. Yeah, so anyways, he was a member of the Rod and Gun Club with his dad and stepmom. That's hunting and fishing. Oh my goodness, sorry, I gotta reach across here. I need a Kleenex. My nose has just been driving me. This weather, I swear it's the weather. It's just... Okay, anyways, now I'm gonna work. I've got 2 ABs here. I'm gonna work these 2. But I'm also gonna pull these ones out. I'm gonna work on these ones next. After the ABs. But yeah, so he was a member of the Rod and Gun Club. And every year they have a banquet, and they give out awards, trophies and awards to members for like the biggest catch, like the biggest deer, the biggest bear, that kind of stuff. I never really paid attention to the awards. Except for the fact that, yeah, him, his dad, his stepmom, they got a lot of awards every year. And it used to piss him off because the newspaper guy, the reporter that covered it and all that stuff, always got spelled his name, spelled their last name wrong. Yeah. But I thought it was cool because at the banquet you get to eat all kinds of different types of meat. Cougar, elk, moose, bear. Yeah, stuff like that. I can't remember what all, but yeah, a friend of his dad's would give them yak meat. Yeah, and apparently yak meat is kind of hard to come by. But Yeah, his dad was a taxidermist as well. So there were times when I'd go over to their place, and yeah, his dad would be working on an animal. That's all I'm going to say. Working on an animal. I will not go into great detail. But he used to gross his friends out. When they would come over, and his dad would be cleaning bones, right? And the way okay, this will be a little gross, but the way that he would the best way to clean the bones, if you've ever watched the show Bones with David Boreanaz and Emily Deschanel, the best way to clean the bones is with, I know this is going to be gross, but with maggots. Because, well, acid leaves pitting. Rodents leave bite marks. Chemicals can also leave pitting. All that kind of stuff. Whereas maggots, very clean, very efficient. So, yeah, he would gross his friends out because there'd be a bucket. and he'd be like, he'd say to his friend, yeah, check this out, and he'd kind of kick the bucket a little bit, and the whole thing would just, oh, it was gross, right? Just gross. Probably grossing you out too, but yeah, he, needless to say, some of his friends never came back. It never bothered me, although I don't think I don't think I ever actually got to see that. Yeah, but yeah, I liked going over there and hanging out, and I think it's because we were allowed to be unsupervised in his bedroom. Not that we ever did anything in his bedroom, but except like we would cuddle, and he did have a TV in there, so we'd cuddle and watch movies. But yeah, he one day got into an argument with his stepmom, stormed into his room, went into his room to calm down, and was cleaning his rifle. Yeah, and she came in to try and to apologize and whatnot. And he kind of pointed it at her, and well, that was the last straw. It was totally unintentional. It was just a, like a knee-jerk reaction. The door opened and he just brought it up. It wasn't loaded or anything, but yeah, she was like, "Yep, no, he's going back to his mom's," and he did. He went back to his mom's, and that's actually kind of how we ended up breaking up. He went back to his mom's. And then I found out many, many years later that apparently at the same time that he was dating me while living at his dad's, he was dating another girl while at his mom's. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, he was a bit of a naughty boy. His brothers knew, and his brothers would bug him about it. "Oh, are you going to tell her about so-and-so?" Yeah. But, yeah. We did kind of keep in touch, like, through his parents. And then through Facebook. So yeah, he knew about me having a child, having Wolfie. And when she was little, like barely crawling age, he was living with one of his older brothers, his oldest brother. He's got 3 older brothers and 1 younger brother. And of those 4, the 2 oldest, they all have the same mom, but the 2 oldest have a different dad. Yeah. So, yeah, he was living with his oldest brother. It was a 2-story house. There was the upstairs, and then there was a basement suite. They originally lived in the basement suite, and then they moved upstairs. And there was 3 bedrooms, and then there was a room that didn't have a door, and it was used. That actually became another brother's bedroom, and he would just prop the door up in the doorway. Yeah. I ended up, but yeah, there was 3 bedrooms, but he had 1 room. His oldest brother had 1 room, and then there was another guy that had the 3rd room, and then the other brother had the storage room, and then there was another guy that was kind of living on the couch. Yeah. So I went to go visit my ex-boyfriend. His name is Ivan. I might as well just use their names. His name is Ivan. So I went to visit him. Well, Wolfie and I went and visited him. We were actually living in a different town at the time, living with this family, and that associating with that family was a big mistake. But it was associating through that family that I met Wolfie's father and eventually produced Wolfie. So, it wasn't all bad. But, anyways, yeah, I was staying with them in another town, and then they went and they dropped me off at Ivan's place to visit, and then to visit for a couple of nights, like 2 or 3 days before going and visiting my parents. So, yeah, I was visiting Ivan when, and this was shortly after his brother Brian came and moved in with them. And Dancer. I'm just going to refer to him by his carny name, Dancer. He had just recently finished the season with the carnival and came to live with 2 of his brothers. Excuse me. Yeah, in that family, I would have to say there's 2 black sheep, and that would be Dancer and then the youngest one. Excuse me. The youngest one has not accomplished anything in life. And that is unfortunately due to honestly, Dancer. He is a very toxic person because he's narcissistic, egotistical, borderline personality disorder or whatever. His psych report reads like psychological evaluate and like an admissions form for a mental institution. Select which applies to you. Check, 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 check. Yeah. He was for 1 year he was seeing 3 different psychiatrists. Yeah, that's Dancer. Crazy enough, he now has 2 daughters of his own. Yeah, I kind of feel sorry for those kids. But anyways, yeah, so anyways, that was when I met, yeah, when I went and visited Ivan, and met Dancer for what I thought was the first time ever, but it turns out that apparently we had actually met briefly once before. When he was 19, I was like 14 or 15. I think I was 15. And he actually had come to town and was staying with his dad and stepmom for a little bit. And well, every weekend there's live music downtown during the summer, during the months of July and August. And this one evening, my stepmom and I were there, and we met up with her friend, Dancer's stepmom, and Dancer was with her. And much to her chagrin, she didn't really, not very many of his family members actually like him because he's just so weird and different. And oh boy, is he, he is definitely different. And well, if he was rich, he'd be considered eccentric because he is super smart. He is very highly intelligent. He just doesn't use his intelligence wisely. Yeah. But anyways, he was 19 and he asked me if I wanted to dance. And I was super shy. I didn't know who this guy was. So I was super shy, and I'm like clinging to my stepmom, and I'm like, no, that's okay. Yeah, super shy. But apparently that was the very first time that we had actually met. And at this house was the second time. And, well, while there, he and I hooked up. And I guess you could say we became a couple while I was there. Yeah. And then I went back, and then Wolfie and I, we went to my parents, and we were visiting my parents for a bit. And then I was going to go back to the town that I was living in. And this was, I was living in a townhouse with this girl and her son, who's a month older than Wolfie. So Wolfie, I was like, you guys, she can stay and visit with you guys. So that was when Wolfie stayed with my parents, and I went back and was living completely 100% by myself. And I talked about it in a previous video about how I did nothing but eat sandwiches and sleep on the couch and read books for like 2 weeks solid. I did reconnect with Dancer at some point in there. I don't remember all of the details. It'll probably come to me, maybe. But I reconnected with him, and we talked about. I went while Wolfie was still with my parents. I found my way back to the house with the boys. That's how I referred to it. The Dancer and Ivan and their oldest brother, and then the other two guys that were all living. Oh, that was close. Oh my goodness. Whew, heart-stopping moment for. Oh my goodness. And then there was a couple that were living downstairs in the basement suite. Yeah, so anyways, I ended up going back to the house with the boys and was staying with Dancer in his room. And then, well, he rode a motorcycle. So, and he had a motorcycle. And so one day he and we hopped on his motorcycle and we went back to the town where I was living. And I gave, because I had to, like, I gave my landlord a 30-day written notice that I was moving out. And yeah, it turned into a nightmare scene because the landlord ended up screwing me and my roommate over because he was supposed to bring me a rent receipt the next day. Yeah, my roommate screwed me over, and then the landlord screwed me over. Yeah, my roommate, she took a bunch of my stuff to the pawn shop to get money to pay the landlord, because the landlord turned around and said that I never paid my share of the rent. Yeah, it was just, yeah. My yeah, oh my goodness. Anyways, oh god. Needless to say, I went back 30 days later, which turned out to be Boxing Day. Yeah, Boxing Day. Spent Christmas with Dancer and his brothers at their mom's place. And then Boxing Day, they all went to the beach. Don't ask. I don't know. But yeah, they all went to the beach except for myself and Dancer and his mom's boyfriend, who drove us to the town to get my stuff. And yeah, we get there and we find turns out she went and she moved a bunch of my stuff into the garage, and had moved into my room. And so we started packing up my stuff and just we were pretty much just grabbing my stuff and shoving it into the back of the truck. And yeah, her boyfriend ran next door and had the next door neighbors call the cops, and her grandfather, because apparently her grandfather, her grandfather came over and was threatening me because I owed him like it was less than $2 for a freaking phone call. And Dancer's mom's boyfriend gave him the money for the phone call. After that, he was fine. But yeah, the cops showed up because apparently the landlord, after we had left, the landlord had shown up and started harassing her for my rent money, claiming that I never paid my share of the rent, so she had to come up with my share of the rent. So she borrowed money from her grandfather, and she took a bunch of my stuff to the pawn shop and sold it, well, pawned it, to get money, my share of the rent money. I was livid. But of course, I couldn't contact the landlord because it was Christmas holidays, and he and his family were out of town for the holidays. But here's the kicker. He was the pastor of the local church as well. Yeah. Nice, eh? And he was just the landlord. He wasn't the actual owner of the house. So he wasn't just screwing us over. He was also screwing over the actual owner of the house. So, yeah. Anyways, we managed to get what we could of my stuff, and we got the hell out of there. Yeah, I was so happy to get the hell out of there, because it was just nightmare scenario. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, Dancer and I, we got a place together. We got a 2-bedroom trailer that we moved into, and we actually, our first night was New Year's Eve in the place. And unfortunately there was no wash machine or dryer, and I was on income assistance, and they're like, well, we will help you with a washer and dryer only if there is a child in the residence. Oh, okay, well then I need to get my child back. Well, I was planning on going and getting Wolfie back anyways from my parents. And my dad's like, oh, well, no, you're not getting her back until you have a washer and dryer. And it's like, well, I can't get a washer and dryer unless she's here. And, yeah, it was a bunch of back and forth. And then my dad's like, well, I can't bring her out because, I'm on call for work. I don't know when I might get called to go back to work. It was just one excuse after another. I'm like, well, this is bloody ridiculous. Finally, I went to income assistance, and I'm like, look, I need a bus ticket to go pick up my daughter and bring her back. And they're like, well, we can, they went and they put her back on my file, and they cut me a check for the difference. So then I went to the bank, cashed it, and then went to the bus depot, got a bus ticket, hopped on the bus, and went back to my hometown to get my daughter. And yeah, I was there for a couple of days, and then the day that Wolfie and I were gonna go hop on the bus to go back home, my stepmom, she contacts my sister, oh, you better come and say goodbye, your niece is leaving, and who knows when we're gonna you're gonna get another chance to see her. And yeah, and then it's like, oh, you should wait until your father gets home so he can say goodbye. And, oh, it was just a major guilt trip. And yeah, so anyways, sorry, I need to finish this coffee before it goes cold. I'm also going to take my meds, my pills, really quickly here. It's almost 10 a.m., so I'm going to quickly take my meds. All done. And 3 colors left. Yay, 3 colors left. So, anyways, basically by the time everything was said and done, my dad's like, okay, I'm gonna. He ended up driving us back to my place, mine and Dancer's place, and thankfully he didn't come inside. He just he just dropped us off, pulled into the driveway, and somehow I managed to get Wolfie out of the car and all of her stuff out of the car and inside, and and I am very glad my dad did not come inside, because I was, oh my god, I was pissed when I walked in the door, because Dancer had decided to work on his motorcycle while I was gone, and he had parts of the motorcycle on I can't remember what he had. They were probably just sitting straight on the floor, but anyways, yeah, there were motorcycle parts on the kitchen floor. When I walked in the door, I was pissed. Yeah. I also told him that, like, if he didn't want his stuff wrecked, don't leave it laying around, because my child will play with the stuff, and if she wrecks it, it's not her fault, it's his fault for leaving it laying around. I was mainly referring to, like, he played a lot of Magic the Gathering, so he had lots of cards. And any of you that know anything about Magic the Gathering cards, some of them are worth a lot of money. And so yeah, he was really good about picking up his Magic cards, keeping them put away. But of course there were other items that he would leave them laying around, and he's like, oh well, she'll learn real quick not to play with it because it'll hurt her. Well, yeah. Definitely different parenting styles between him and I. But yeah, thanks, because of him, we ended up getting evicted from that place. I think the only reason why we were able to get that trailer that we were living in at the time was because the owner of the trailer is related to the owner of the carnival company that he worked at. Yeah. And the owner of the carnival company liked Dancer. Yeah. Go figure. Yeah, he's a weird one. Dancer is definitely a weird one. I am still friends with him on Facebook. He, I think he's called a metalsmith. I think that's what the terminology would be, is metalsmith, because he works with metal. He does blacksmithing, but he makes knives. Yeah, when he and I were together, he would make knives. When we lived in that trailer, there was a shed in the backyard, and that was his workshop. I almost never went in there, because yeah, if he was in there doing his metal smithing, he really liked making throwing knives. Yeah. And he used the door as a target. So needless to say, yeah, I almost never went in there. Because even if I knocked on the door, there was no guarantees that he would actually hear me because of the loud noises from metalsmithing. Now, blacksmiths, they actually make shape and forge the metal. He would just take existing pieces of metal and cut them down and shape the existing metal into knives. Like his dad once gave him these massive saw blades. I'm guessing they were from a sawmill, and like they were massive saw blades for cutting big logs. Yeah, his dad gave him those, and we were living in another town, and in a 2-bedroom house, and the laundry room was a room. There was a carport, and at the back of the carport there was a room, an enclosed little room, and the washer and dryer were in there, plus hot water tank. And they were on the left-hand side, and there was like a workstation on the right-hand side, and the workstation on the right-hand side was his workstation where he would do his metalsmithing. Unfortunately, with cutting this metal, and it was really hard metal, you end up with metal shavings, little tiny metal shavings everywhere. Every time I went to do laundry, I would have to wipe the washer and dryer down. Yeah, I would have to wipe them down to clean them because of all the metal shavings. Yeah, I don't like the looks of the trash. That one, so it's trash. Yeah, he made quite the mess. And would always leave the cleaning of the washer and dryer to me whenever I would do laundry. Yeah. Yeah, while we were living there, he also cheated on me. But that's because he was never into monogamy. He was into polygamy. And he actually encouraged that in me as well. And actually that's actually how I became friends with benefits with my current boyfriend. Because yeah, so Dancer's oldest brother is friends, has been friends with this guy, this one guy, for many years. And this particular guy, his nephew, has the same name as him, and that's who I'm dating now, is his nephew. I know, lots of people, lots of this person, that person, very few names. Okay, I might as well just, I'm pretty sure I've actually said his name in a couple of videos, but yeah. So Dancer's oldest brother, his name is Rob. And Rob is friends with this guy named, well, I guess he's friends with both of them. But yeah, so their name is Pat. Yeah, so there's Big Pat and Little Pat. I'm dating Little Pat. And that's because, well, there's Little Pat, and then there's his uncle, Big Pat. Yeah. So yeah, when Dancer was living with Ivan and Rob in the house, in the that big house, Big Pat came over a couple of times, and he brought little Pat with him. And little Pat saw me there, and yeah. So yeah, anyways, that's how I met little Pat. And then when Dancer and I were living together, little Pat came over with a cousin of his named Sean, and they had this friend named, they had this friend named Karsten. The three of them would come and visit and hang out with me, because they all, yeah, all three of them really liked me. So basically, but at the end of the day, I might as well just come out and admit that yes, I was friends with benefits with all three of them at that point in time in my life. Karsten wanted to marry me and get custody of, like, he had an ex-girlfriend that they had a son together. Karsten wanted to marry me and get custody of his son and adopt Wolfie. So then Wolfie would have an older stepbrother. Sean also wanted to be in a relation. He also, well, I guess he also wanted to marry me, but I don't think he ever said marriage, but yeah. But yeah, Karsten said, he admitted straight out that he wanted to marry me, but I wasn't actually interested in either of them for like a serious relationship. The only one that I was interested in having an actual serious relationship was Pat. And like when Dancer and I were living there together, Pat would come over. He was still living at home with his mom and his younger sister. But he'd come over, and he would smoke the devil's lettuce. He was smoking the devil's lettuce back then. His Uncle Pat and Rob introduced him to the stuff. Yeah. And it helps with his he has anger issues, and it helps with his anger issues. But it was hard for him to keep the stuff stashed at home, because he was worried that his mom or sister would find it and take it away. And so he would actually keep his stash at our place, at mine and Dancer's place, and he'd come over at night and smoke it, and like we never locked the door. Didn't believe in locking the door, because, well, if somebody decided they wanted to break in, well, then Dancer would get to hurt people on purpose, because he was just that kind of person. Yeah. So, anyways, I guess to be continued. I will continue this story in my next video, where I kit this down. But before I go, I gotta show you just how, move that wire, just how pretty this is. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, that looks so awesome. Even if it is a partial. One nice thing about the diamond dots is they have this massive colored border, so you don't actually have to put washi tape down, which is awesome. I love that about diamond dots. I think Dreamer Designs does it as well. Oh, I found a stray drill. A runaway drill. So, All right. Look at that. But the nice thing about partials like this is you don't have to worry about straight lines because, well, there are no straight lines. Some parts, there are no straight lines because it follows the flow of the picture, right? But look at the colorful tail. That is such a colorful tail. So all of the ABs, are like in the plants. No, there are no ABs on the bird. No ABs on the bird at all. But look at that. But that doesn't stop it from sparkling. It's so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna go. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!